Let me think. My most memorable ASOR meeting moment.
I can't. It's too embarrassing.
Oh dear. It's the more memorable one is not necessarily the most wonderful one. The first year that we tried to meet separately was in Napa, California. And that meeting was very successful. We, for the first time, really knew how many members we had. With the registration, I think we were about 300. And but at the same time, there was a push-pull to go back to the joint meeting with the Society of Biblical Literature and the American Academy of Religion. And this was a very feisty meeting. We had a big members meeting, probably the best attended members meeting ever, because everybody came. You know, now we're lucky we get a couple hundred people, but at that time everybody was there. And everybody got to say their piece, and we had a very, then we had a very contentious and interesting board meeting at that time.
Apparently the first time we met was at the ASOR meeting.
Well, you forgot that I had met you. Right. That was in Orlando. Ken Holem introduced me to Elise, and she's there. She was at Rollins College at the time, so she's in Winter Park. So she just took her students to the, it was not a great venue, the hotel.
Near the airport.
Near the airport. But Ken introduced me to Elise.
And her gaggle of students.
And she still has no memory of that.
I don't remember meeting him.
The person who most impacted my philosophy of archaeology was a professor named Lawrence Toombs. And that's who I did my master's thesis with. After he had retired, he was awarded one of the ASOR's awards in the first year the awards were given. And he was not able to come to the meetings that year. And so I was the one who was selected to, receive it on his behalf. So it was, it was significant for me just to see the outpouring of love that people had for my teacher, which then I was able to go back and tell him about.
Oh, and what about the one in Denver where after I'd already met you and
hadn't talked to you for a year
and
a
I
half.
came, yeah, and Ken and I came walking up, and you came, and it's like you were going to give me a hug, and somehow Ken got the hug, and I didn't, and I was very...
Anyway.
One of the earliest or most interesting probably had to do again with the paleographical section. On a number of occasions, we were dealing with new discoveries where the news media all of a sudden showed up because the discoveries were both newsworthy and controversial. And it seems to me that that's another element that's important, because part of our goal is not simply to speak to ourselves, but also to serve the public and to translate the fruits of scholarship into a format that is intellectually accessible and yet rigorous for the community. So to me, those kinds of papers that went beyond perhaps the more immediate scholarly ones to a somewhat broader approach had the impact of being dramatic in my own experience, as well as I think in contributing to the public and society as a whole.
I think one of the more memorable ASOR moments that I have was at the Nashville meeting when the reception was held in their replica of the Parthenon. And I can still see myself standing beneath the replica of the Athena Parthenos, the huge gargantuan colossal cult statue to Athena, with Ken Holem, your dissertation advisor, and Andrew. And it's just a great way to think about how ancient viewers, ancient worshipers might have felt in the presence of those cult statues. But there we were at an ASOR reception with all of these
and you
colleagues.
should, yeah, and the context behind all that, we actually met in Jordan while I was on a project. So,
right.
So again, ASOR provides a great venue to reconnect with people.
I don't really have a highlight because every time is a highlight for different reasons. I mean, some of my memorable moments were chairing the program committee and planning for next year. Others are meeting with the executive committee and seeing what's going on. And others are just sitting in a paper from somebody I've never met and going, wow, this is good. Those are the memories. And then there's the other ones that become gossip and legend, but we probably shouldn't talk about those.
Clearly the talks by the stars. Noel Friedman was a wonderful lecturer, and I, of course, adored Frank Cross.
My most memorable ASOR meeting moment probably is yet to come.